Hello, welcome to the fourth session of Monday Morning Mojo, a program brought to you by FineWealth, where we use words wisely to equip you with the power to convert your talents, passion, and skills into worthwhile, decent, income-generating activities. I'm your mentor, Magdalene Kamau Otieno, speaking to you from Mombasa. Karibu. Now, I'm so excited to speak to you once again in our fourth session. I'm so happy that we've gone 4 sessions. I know we didn't start in January, but it feels good to see me growing and to see you stick with us. Now, it's one thing that I would want to hear from you is how you're growing in all this. But hey, let's reserve that for after this session. Today, I would want us to speak about a painful session, about how to use failure to fuel your business. Last week, I went with you, or I took you through the simple steps of taking your product or your service to the market, to the target market. And I remember telling you that it is completely wrong for you not to market your product. In fact, the topic was not marketing your product is an unpardonable sin. And I'm really hoping that within the last 7 days, you've been able to speak to at least 20 people about your business. Now, if you haven't, it's not too late. Could you use the remaining part of this day to do exactly that? Speak to a number of people. Go out there, attend an event, and speak to people about your business. Now, once we have done that, let's go to today's topic, which is how to use failure to fuel your business. And of course, fuel it to success. Now, I need you to think about failure as a gallon of diesel and your business coming down as a house on fire. So you're using that fuel and throwing it in there so that you can now come up with a bigger business after failure. I know it sounds so crazy, but hey, look, I wouldn't tell you this if I didn't know better. Now, I want to introduce you to 5 components that are obviously there, ugly components in failure that you'll actually know for sure this is failure. Number 1 is loss, and then there is pain, there is anger, there is fear, and then there is regret. Loss, pain, anger, fear, regret. These are the 5 components, 5 ugly components that embody failure. So when you're going through failure, these things will be like a daily reminder. They'll be painful. They will be like an injection where there is a wound. You know, like someone is poking up your wound with something sharp. That's ugly. But I don't want you to think of it as such an ugly thing, because if you're going to use it as fuel for your business, then it means that there's something you can do about it. I want you to use these 5 components. I want to teach you how to use these 5 components as fertilizer, as the fuel to make a bigger and better business, to come back even bigger, better, bolder. How do you like that? Good. Now, I will give you 3 people who have failed in business. But the second person, I want you to think about them. I want you to come up with that person, because I'm sure you've seen that person. Now, the first person who made me realize that you can actually use failure to fuel your business is my motivational mentor, my motivational speaking mentor, Lisa Nichols. She's an African-American motivational speaker who actually has one of the biggest motivational speaking business in US, and she's traveled all over the world. Now, when I first saw Lisa Nichols, it was through the book, I read about her in the book, The Secret. If you remember Secret, that must have been a long time ago. That must have been like 2005, thereabout, 2006. And Lisa Nichols was not the petite lady you see today. She was probably twice my size. Obviously, I'm huge. But one thing that I like about her story is the way she talks about the time when she was at the lowest point of her life, financially, emotionally, and in every way one can possibly be down. And Lisa had this little baby, her son, and she looked at her son, Jelani. She couldn't afford diapers for the boy. So the only way out for her was to wrap the child with a towel. Because when she wanted to go and buy the diapers, she realized that she didn't have enough money in the ATM. She actually needed to have more to be able even to withdraw what she had. And she looked at this baby and told the baby, son, you will never have to be this broke again. She used the pain and the humiliation and the fear and the regret, the loss, to fuel her business, her now business. And I look at that, the day I heard her story, I thought, wow, this girl, this beautiful woman has used the most painful situation when every other woman would have gone into the streets and become a bag lady. She used the lowest part of her life to fuel her business, to come up with what today is the most admirable. I believe that she's mentioned about it being the first motivational speaking business to go to stock exchange. And I'm thinking like, wow, I never thought that that is doable. But Lisa is one of us who've fallen so low that her coming up is like, oh, it's possible. Yes, it's possible. Now, the other person, the second person, is someone whom you've seen in your life. I don't know who they are, but I know you know them. Someone who probably had a beautiful shop somewhere, whose name was looking really great, and then from nowhere that business came and it broke, and there was nothing left. Now, it's up to you to finish the story. Did the person come up? Do you see them come up? Or did they just go down, 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 down? I don't know. Could that person be you? Because if it is, then, well, you're number two. Number three, that person who I know has gone so down but has used failure to fuel her business is myself, Magdalene. Of course, mid-2006, I just quit or refused to renew a contract. I was living in Botswana by then. And I refused to renew a contract because I felt that it was undermining the human in me. It sounded so humane. And so I refused to sign a contract, and therefore I remained jobless in a foreign country. And I can tell you this, being a foreigner in Botswana wasn't the easiest thing. And that was mid-2006. I decided to borrow from my husband 50,000 US dollars to start a business, a cyber cafe. And I started it 100 kilometers away from home, which means I actually had to travel 100 kilometers every morning to the business and then come back in the evening. Well, I can tell you this. One thing I knew about that business is that because I was starting it out of revenge. I wanted to show my boss, like, ha ha ha, my former boss, like, ha ha ha, I can do it better. And guess what? In exactly 1 year, actually 11 months, I was broke, sunk in debt up to here, and I had nothing to show for it. In fact, I actually had to sell part of the furniture and the equipment to my employee so that I could go back to my hometown. So in 11 months, I had blown all the 50,000 US dollars and I had nothing, and I was sunk in debts. But this is the funny thing. 9 months down the line, I was. But another sad part, 5 years after that, because we moved from Botswana and came to Kenya, I sank. I started another business with 10,000 US dollars and I sank. And let me tell you what, 10,000 US dollars in Africa is a lot of money. I can tell you it's really good moolah. But I sank. And you're wondering, like, what kind of person are you? I actually realized that the kind of business I was doing, where I was attending to people while stationed in one place, is not my kind of business. And it's 3 years after that, in 2013, 2014, that I started mentoring people in business. I realized that my writing, which I had begun in 2010 and ignored, was the best thing that I could ever do. And my story was actually suitable to inspire someone else and to help someone else to grow their business. Do you find that awkward? Yes, I do. I actually sometimes have to pinch myself, like, get up, girl, get up. I mean, it's funny. But I'm up and I'm running as a business mentor, as a motivational speaker, and a freelance writer that I'm so proud to do. In fact, I can't stop writing. I love writing. And I write a lot about business. Now, these are 3 people I've given you that have failed Now you decided that the second person fueled their business up, or they just sunk down and they got buried by the 5 components. Today, I want us to look at 7 steps, and I'll take you through this very fast. 7 steps that you can use to fuel your business using failure, using loss, pain, anger, fear, and regret that are embodied in failure, so that you can use them to fuel your business to success. And these are things that I personally have done. How did I rise? Such that 2014, I was ready to become a mentor. And I've mentored with several firms here in Kenya, in the coast region of Kenya, because that's where I live. I have mentored people in Kenya, in the coast region. I've mentored people online. I've mentored people over the phone. It works for me. Now, the question is, when you fail, will you take time to look and ask yourself, why did I fail? Because that is actually a very important thing. Let me take you through these 7 steps. And I believe through these 7 steps, you'll be able to fuel your failure, your business using failure. The first step is allow yourself to go through these 5 components, these 5 ugly components of failure. Allow yourself to feel the pain, to feel the loss, to count your loss, to ask yourself why, to feel afraid of failing, to actually notice the ugly guys and go like, yeah, gosh, how did I even sleep in the same bed with you, man? Allow yourself to feel that pain, because when you allow yourself to feel that pain, then you can no longer ignore it. Now, you're asking, how do you allow yourself to feel the pain? I've been doing a study of increasing brain performance, and I came across something very beautiful called mindfulness meditation. Now, meditation as a whole is actually something good. And I'm terrible at meditation. Okay, I've been terrible for a long time until recently. I came across a tool created by Vishen Lakhiani of Mindvalley. Now, Vishen is someone I really, really respect. And so when I saw this tool by him, made by him, and I heard his story, I realized that this is actually one tool I could try. I've done it for quite a while now. I've shared it with a few of my friends over WhatsApp. And I like the tool because he actually guides you through meditation, where you look at yourself from a compassionate perspective, where you shed the light of compassion to the people around you, where you show gratitude, where you forgive, where you plan 3 years in advance, then you plan for your day, and finally you ask for help from above. I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, and therefore I ask help from God. So using this tool, I've been able to forgive myself. And actually, for me, the biggest problem out of a failure of my earlier businesses was forgiving myself, because I kept telling myself, oh, Magdalene, you must be so stupid. How did you actually drop a business that good? And yet that was your area. By the way, I had been in the IT field since 1997. So for me to fail in 2007, that was awkward. But hey, it happened. And I blamed myself for so long. I was so afraid, and I felt bitter. I was angry. And through this tool, I've been able to forgive myself, to appreciate even those moments of failure, because they are actually lessons. They're actually staircases for me to step on and grow. Now, that is the first step. The second step is never forget any rude word spoken by people you care about your failing business. I know you're thinking like, I thought you said. Yes, let me tell you what. Those words will be like a bitter pill that you swallow. When it gets to your stomach, it makes your stomach calm down. Now, I live in Africa, and one of the worst tablets anyone could be given when they had malaria was a tablet that was called chloroquine. Ugly. That thing, by the time it gets to your tongue, it was the ugliest thing. You'd want to spit it, but it was so bitter that it actually made you feel pain in your the edges of your jaw. It was that ugly. And recently, about less than 6 months ago, a friend of mine, a very close friend, told me, we were arguing through chat, and he said, I can't believe that you've never gotten over the fact that you actually failed your business twice. And the twice was like twice. And I can tell you, it was painful. I was like, what the? Yes, okay. What the heck? I never forgot those ones. In fact, I've never deleted that message, because every time I look at it, I tell myself, I'm going to get better than this. I'm going to get better than this. And every time I have something beautiful to say about it, I go like, I'm getting better than this. Oh, did I tell you I got better than it? Yes. Never forget those rude words, because the minute you forget them, you forget your origin. That's my origin. It is actually my reason why I'm pushing myself this hard. Now, the third thing is seek help from a mentor. And I know you're thinking like, I don't want to speak about my failure to anybody. Your mentor can even be your mother, for goodness sake. Don't get so worried about getting someone so big with big titles. No. Get help from a mentor, someone you can speak to, someone you can open up to, someone you can actually tell what happened and what you really want to do. Why? Because this person will help you. And in good times, this kind of person is actually the kind of person who will listen. So when you make a good step, you come and tell them, they account for it. They go like, yeah, you said you would do it and you've done it. Yeah, high five. That's what you do with a mentor. Now, sometimes you might not get a physical mentor. And sometimes you might get someone who you don't really consider as a mentor. But if they can listen to you, it's a great thing. If they can celebrate with you, that's a great thing. If they can ask you questions like you said you would do, that's a good thing. So keep them close. Help them. Let them help you account for your activities. Number 4 is set daily targets and strategize on how you will accomplish them. Now, one of the most difficult things for me to do in the morning, things to do in the morning, is to plan. And therefore, I have to plan in the morning what to do the rest of the day. After meditation, which I do at 3 a.m., I have to sit down and plan, what am I going to do today? Do I have some unfinished work, articles to write, emails to respond to, updating my website, among other things? I write them early, because if I don't write them, I'll not do them. And when I strategize how to do them, it becomes easier. I say, okay, I will do this way, this way, this way. So when I take my morning jog, sometimes I have to go through this in my mind. Like, oh yeah, I could do this, I could do this. So from after meditation to the time I'm jogging, all this time is usually time to set my targets and to strategize. And you should do the same too. My 4th point is to celebrate every step of success. Let me tell you something funny. Do you know that every time I look at my set targets and I see that I've accomplished it, like maybe I'd said I'd send an email to Joseph and I have done it, I tick and I put a smiley and I dance. I know it sounds so weird, but I actually do dance. Actually, I'll tell you this. Yesterday, I got a very short message from a client I had written for. I had written a 6,000 words article for this client, and he was paying really good. I mean, it was pretty. I liked the idea that he had actually proposed a very good pay, despite me having told him a different, because he said, you know, you worked for me for so long, I understand that I've underpaid you, then this is the price, I'm gonna pay you this. And I was like, wow. So when I completed the job, and yesterday I saw the message, he had written, thanks Magdalene, you've done a fantastic job. And I can tell you my eyes were stuck on the word fantastic for like a whole minute, and I was like, yeah. He said, I did something good. I was so excited. I don't know how you celebrate, but you need to put a smiley, put a tick, and do a dance. Number 6 is write your story. Now, as I'm doing all this, by putting down my list of things to do, and by putting time whenever I finish and I put a tick and a smiley, that time helps me to come back and write a story in the evening. And I use that information to actually write some of the articles I've written in my website, and even to write articles for other people. Because this, for me, is a story that needs to be shared. And finally, number 7, help someone else. Once you have done the whole of this process, help yourself. Help someone else. Go and lift someone up. Go and point out something in someone's shop who you can see they're failing and encourage them. Go and pull them up, because that is the way up. For you to grow any further, you need to pull someone else up. I hope you're actually seeing the need to use all these 7 points. And these 7 points, if I may recap as we end the program. Number 1, the 7 steps for fueling your business using your failure. Number 1, allow yourself to go through the 5 ugly components of failure. That is loss, pain, anger, fear, and regret. Number 2, never forget the rude words that are spoken against you on your way down during failure. Number 3, seek the help of a mentor. Number 4, set your daily targets and strategize on how to achieve them. Number 5, celebrate every step of success. Every time you accomplish something, celebrate. Let it have emotions, that is. Attach emotions, good emotions, positive emotions to every point of success. Number 6, write your story. And number 7, help someone else. I'm your mentor, Magdalene Kamau Otieno, wishing you a super productive day and week ahead. Remember, you're on a mission. Do it, live it. Thank you.